Okay, line one, I guess, would be Pat. Pat, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Sorry
Okay,
we hung up on you.
Sorry for hanging up on you.
See,
It's okay.
how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
We are
Fine,
well.
thanks.
You know, I just want to say I'm so grateful that you guys have this show. I just
So are
started
we.
listening to it. I just started listening to it I guess maybe a couple months ago, because my son listens to you religiously.
That's a good way to listen to us.
But excuse me. What I wanted to say is, you know, first of all, the people, the Christians out there. First of all, I want to say to be Christian means to be Christ-like. The word Christ comes from the Greek word Christos, which means God and man, which is the spiritual energy. And the reason I say it's spiritual energy is because it's invisible. You can't see it. That's why I call it spiritual. And the thing about the Bible is...
wait.
Hang on,
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead, keep going.
Okay, and the thing about the Bible is, you know, those stories are written, are written in allegories, and they aren't supposed to be taken literal. But the people that put those stories together, organizations that put them together, knew, because of the ignorance of people at the time then and now, that people would not delve deep into themselves to realize that these stories were not intended to be taken literal, and they have taken them literal because that was the point. And they were made like that for control and power and for certain groups of people to be superior over all, which is not the truth of what life is all about. But the hardcore Christians, when it comes to religion, it's like they leave their brains outside the door. They can think about everything else, but when it comes to religion, they go totally stupid.
So your point is that you think that essentially Christians are missing the point.
They are totally missing the point.
Yeah.
They are totally missing the point. They have been systematically, deliberately deceived and misled into believing something that's never going to happen, something that's never going to take place. And if you understand, I look at the way of comprehension. A lot of that stuff is the allegories, and the allegories are stuff that you have to figure out for the deeper meanings and messages. And if most people can't follow a regular book written in plain English and pass a comprehension test, how are they going to read the Bible, which is written in Old English and has been transferred so many times? And you can't even, how are you going to understand that when you can't understand simple stuff? And the thing about religion is Jesus never said he died for anybody. He never said any of those things. And he's not the Savior. What he did was I read this stuff, and I understand it because I use the power within me to understand this stuff.
Okay.
And excuse me?
Yeah, we're going to ask you some questions now. Okay.
Sure.
So you say that everybody else is reading the Bible wrong and you're reading it right. Is
No,
that
what
right?
I'm saying is they are misunderstanding that those stories are allegories.
Okay.
And allegories are stories that that are written but not to be taken literal because they have a deeper meaning and message.
So the whole story of Jesus, is that an allegory or was there a Jesus?
Jesus was a prophet. He was a prophet.
How do
He
you
was a
know
prophet.
that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is this, in other words, what we're asking you is, you have an interpretation of the Bible that you're telling us right now. You say it's a collection of allegorical stories. Fine.
Yes.
And there are other Christians out there, and institutionalized churches, what have you, and they have interpretations of the Bible that are a lot more literal than yours. Yes. This is all well and good. The problem is, how do you propose to demonstrate to someone people like us outside of the fold that yours is correct, theirs isn't, that there's really any more reason to believe in, say, the reality of what you call the spiritual energy any more than there is to believe in a deity in the heavens or Jesus as some sort of transcendent being.
Right.
That's kind of what we're getting at.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, we're with you on a lot of stuff, like, they believe in a lot of silly things like the rapture and a literal flood and stuff
they
like
believe
that,
in, they
which is
claim to understand
allegorical.
things that they can't that they don't actually understand. We agree with you there too.
Right, but you're also telling us, I mean, I assume you're implying that the Bible is still kind of a book of revealed truth from the creator of the universe. It just doesn't say what they think it says. Am I right about that?
Yes. Yes.
So I mean, where we part company, of course, is that the Bible has any use in understanding some fundamental truths about the universe. I mean, can you enlighten us a little bit about how you came to that conclusion?
Okay, I can. Well, what happened, have you heard of chakras, like the chakras inside the body?
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not
Okay.
really a
Okay.
Christian
don't believe
concept,
that.
is it?
Hold on.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of out-of-body experience?
Uh-huh, yes.
Yes, but they're generally
yeah, okay.
they generally don't stand up under investigation.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Back in
I
1975,
want to see how
Okay.
this
God, which I call God, and I call God because it's a higher energy or supreme power that exists inside me.
Okay.
It's the power that I'm made from. The energy that I'm made from in form. Because without form, it's just invisible energy. With form, it's you, me, and the physical universe. And I tapped into this energy back in 1975 when I had no idea that it exists, because I was brought up traditional religion, Baptist.
Okay.
I tapped into this religion. I mean, into this energy inside but it's inside me. I tapped into it.
What
and
does tapping into it mean exactly? What happened?
I was in a state of meditation, and I was
Okay.
asking myself, who am I?
Okay.
Okay.
And I didn't get anything for hours.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, I felt this calm inside my body that was deeper than I was big, and it scared me. And so I found myself, like tensing up. And on the top of my head, with my eyes closed, I see the words, "Don't be afraid." I hear myself answer, "Okay." And I'm looking inside myself with my eyes closed. I could see, and I felt this energy. I was ready to coming up through me, like a hum, like I was getting ready to take off in a rocket or something. And when it got to the top of my head, it just opened up, and I'm laying on my bed, and I see myself walk outside my body.
Okay.
And I'm looking at myself, and I'm going, what in the world is going on? And I travel to the ends of the earth and back in seconds. In literal seconds.
Okay.
And I had this incredible experience, had no idea what it was.
All right.
And I was telling everybody about it, and they thought I was crazy. And I found one lady who understood metaphysics. She said what that was gifts of the spirit that I had tapped into a part of myself that most people would never, ever get a chance to, and I
Right.
must have something to do.
Okay.
So suppose
let us ask.
You go ahead,
yeah.
Mark.
And then let me think. Because of this stuff, I brought 2 people out of a coma that the doctor said they weren't coming out
Oh, really?
because I had experience of the astral world, the invisible world. I had been there.
Okay.
The reason I know about the life process and how it works.
You're gonna have to take a break here so that we can have a dialogue.
Yeah.
Okay.
We really
Okay.
Yeah, so the long and short of it is that in 1975 you had an experience that was extremely profound. That sounds a lot like experiences that a great many friends of mine have had that are called hallucinations. Are you familiar with that concept? I mean, are you familiar with...
Hallucinations are usually drug-induced.
But not necessarily. I mean, the
always.
brain is full of chemicals, and and
That's true.
sometimes those chemicals can make your brain do interesting things. You can have, for example, in the regular sleep state, you can have what's called either a hypnagogic or hypnopompic hallucination.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's when you're awake but you're not quite, and
Right.
so things. So in other words, the brain is a fascinating thing, and all kinds of stuff can happen to it to
But it's
make
not the
it
brain,
function in an
actually.
altered
It's
state.
actually not the brain. It's the soul working through the brain.
Yeah, but see,
Yeah,
here's the
but
thing: is that
you're
we know
saying
we
that.
know brains exist, and
Right.
we don't. You
Sure.
know, we don't really know. We haven't really gotten any evidence here that souls exist. I mean, we know that believers claim that they do, but with that lacking evidence for a soul, we're kind of left with the brain here, and it does sound like,
Well,
your experience sounds like
everything that
any
exists
number of
in the material
hallucinations.
world, everything that exists in the material world already exists in the invisible world, because I've been there.
Pat,
And-
let me ask you a question, because
Sure.
you're telling us about experiences that we haven't had. So I want to ask you,
Right.
what would happen if I introduced you to somebody and he said, one time in 1975, I was in a state of deep meditation, and all of a sudden, Jesus appeared in front of me. And he told me specifically that every word of the Bible is literally true, that Noah's flood really happened, that there's a real hell, that all this stuff is exactly what it says in the Bible. Would you believe that guy?
No, I would not. You know why I wouldn't believe him?
Why?
Because, first of all, it goes against the principles of the universe.
But
It goes
but
against
from
the
his
principles-
point of
the laws
view,
of the universe are immutable.
but
and those
but from
things
his
go
point of
against the
view,
laws.
but from his point of view, the stuff that
Yeah.
you're saying would go against what he thinks is the principles of the universe. So I mean, I think you'd be right not to believe that guy's experience, no matter how convinced he was that he had figured something out about the way the universe works. Are you with me there?
I'm with you.
Okay.
So can you see why it's a little difficult for us to go along with you when you tell us that you went to the universe, the ends of the universe and back in seconds and found out stuff that we don't know?
Well, this is how too. And another thing, I mean, I had so many experiences that I took those experiences that I had and I acted on them. And this is how I learned.
Well, that's
about
fine, but
life,
I mean, it still doesn't. It still doesn't get us back to.
And it proved it. And it proved it. I mean,
Well,
the way I found out that the stories were allegories, I was told from within, and it's like a veil lifted from my eyes to let me see the clues. See, the Bible is full of clues.
Well,
But that's
fair enough, but see,
exactly what a fundamentalist would say when they tell you how they know that the Bible is literally true, wouldn't they?
You know what? I tell you, the things are changing in the world because, first of all, people are tired of all this foolishness they've been told because they don't see it. They've been told that Jesus died for
True.
us.
I'm not sure the cure for that is more bullshit.
yeah,
I
I mean,
I know, but Christians believe that.
yes,
Christians
but
believe that.
we know,
I mean,
and
but what they don't believe is this is the physical, material world. They think that Jesus went to prepare something for them. The invisible world, or the spirit world, because it's invisible, is just that invisible. There's nothing to prepare. The
yes, but see, Pat, this is
here on earth while you have a body.
right. But okay, let me just go ahead and ask you essentially the same questions that I ask a traditional Christian. All right, which is fine. Okay, we've heard your claims of having these experiences. Fine. Since we did not have these experiences, right, and since we weren't privy to this very personal experience that you had,
right?
What I would ask you is, how do you propose to demonstrate to us that these things are real as opposed to something that you just imagined? Okay? How can you demonstrate to us that your experience was an actual real experience that you had and not just an imagined experience?
Okay, I'll tell you this. Okay, I'm listening real carefully. When I had another vision. I mean, I had them all the time, but this was real a lot. In 1978, I had this vision. I traveled inside myself instead of walking outside my body. It's like my whole head opened up, elongated, and it's like I was watching television in the top of my head.
Yeah, okay,
Okay,
but
so
wait.
wait.
Yeah, I don't think you're understanding the question.
Yeah, you're not.
I'm going to show you. I saw this stuff come whirling in front of me. I had no idea what it was. It was like tadpoles going everywhere. And I said, I heard myself inside say, what in the world is that?
Yeah,
This voice inside me said, pregnant. I said, pregnant? Oh, my God. I said, it's a boy or girl. The whole situation changed. Long story short, I went to my doctor. Didn't have no more sex because I wanted to make sure, because everybody by now thinks I'm crazy. I wanted to make sure that I heard what I heard and I saw what I saw.
Okay.
The doctor told me that I wasn't pregnant. I didn't have no more sex. Went back in 6 weeks. I was pregnant. They did a birth injury with my son. They told me when he was born that he may not live because he had a very traumatic birth. And he would be a vegetable.
So let me make sure I'm clear on this. You
plane,
were hold on. Stop. Please stop, or I'll put you on hold.
I'm sorry.
You were having sex before this.
She's on hold.
She is?
Yes.
Okay.
I
did want to ask questions.
Well, she wasn't going to allow that. Pat, here's the problem.
For a person to be having regular unprotected sex and then wonder if they're pregnant and then come up
Russell,
with
that's not even the issue here. The thing is
Right.
what she is using as a way of demonstrating to us, the proof that she is giving us of the validity of the experience she had in 1975 is to tell us about another hallucination she had in 1978. I don't think you understand, Pat, how to distinguish between something that really is happening to you and something that you were just imagining is happening to you. I'm sorry if that sounds unkind, but this is just where it's coming from in our perspective. I don't think that you are really able to distinguish fantasy from reality at this point. You've had a lot of what I don't disbelieve you. I don't think you're lying to us when you claim that you have had these kinds of experiences. I think that you're just an individual who has either hallucinated or who has interpreted dreams as reality, or the memory is a funny thing. I mean, you're talking about events that happened to you 35 years ago. So you've had 35 years to construct a narrative around what you think these experiences were.
Right.
All right? So this is why these aren't really proofs to us. I mean, we think that something's happened to you, but we don't think it proves anything other than you've had experiences that you're trying to explain in these ways. So thanks for calling, Pat, but I really don't know that there's any further we can go in this conversation. I think we should let her go and move on.
Just drop it?
Yeah.